Okay, so this is a property in Kaufman. So the house, I'll walk through it really quick. It could be a good bunkhouse. Of course, it wouldn't be your main house, but you have a lot of potential on this property to build elsewhere. You have one neighbor that's fairly close right here, but this is also, if you kind of think about the property, this will be the far right hand side of the property line is that fence line right there. So not super close, and you have the bunkhouse here, and then you built a bigger house back here. You know, it wouldn't be that close. This other house right here is not very close at all. I mean, you're probably at least 100 yards away from them. And then wherever you put your house, the main house, I would say you would be, you wouldn't be super close to them. You know, you're gonna have some cleanup, some of this stuff. We could probably try to negotiate that hey, the seller's gonna clean it up. You know, that's not necessarily a big deal. We can negotiate all that stuff. But I mean, for the price of this property, you know, for 45 acres for that price, it's a pretty good deal, you know, per acre, you know, around 15 and a half per acre, which is pretty good actually for Kaufman and Kaufman County. We normally run about 18 grand an acre, and now with the property being, you know, prices going down and stuff, that'll fall a little bit. But you know, at 15, scooping this up at 15 an acre just for the land that comes with the house is actually not a terrible deal. You know, it's already ag exempt, so that you know, it's natural grass ag exempt, so you actually wouldn't have to put horses or cows or anything on it. You could just leave it as natural pasture. Mow what you want to mow. You don't have to mow all of this, of course. There's a nice homestead right here. It looks like a fairly big house. It looks like an older house, you know, maybe late 90s, early 2000s house. So comps, I have to pull comps around here because I think the size house you would want to build and kind of style might put you in a little bit of a crunch if, like, for resale value. But this property's big, and it's, you know, it's kind of skinnier up front and gets bigger at the back. Should have just drove my truck down here. But basically, I'm walking on the far right hand side of the property right now, walking towards the back. You have some low spots, but this is kind of typical for you know, these pastures. Something, it doesn't look like it's like bad drainage necessarily. Something you could probably get your son out here with his equipment and flatten it out if that's what you wanted to do. You know, it's not a necessity. It's got a pretty nice big pond back here. I'll walk to it. But it's kind of scattered trees, pasture. Kind of has a mix of different things. Of course, this property is not as nice as Ennis aesthetically, but that's you know, of course we're not going to find many properties that look like that. So, especially with 45 acres. But yeah, I mean, this pond's a good sized pond. It has a dog, but that's just, I would tear that out. Especially, I wouldn't want the grandkids running on that, or build a new one. But yeah, I wouldn't want the grandkids playing on that. But it's a pretty good sized pond. You're talking about, you know, a quarter of an acre or so pond. I can see fish swimming around, like minnows swimming around in it, so it's got some fish in it. And I believe there's another pond on this property. We'll walk around back here. So like, you could absolutely probably build your house. Like, so here's, again, this would be the right hand side of the property that I was walking down. There's that one close neighbor. You could build your house somewhere right here behind this tree line, and almost you would have all of this back here. Basically, you wouldn't, this is what your view would be. And you could even maybe try to build a house a little bit even closer to this pond if you wanted to. It just kind of depends on what the ground is, how flat it is, and I've got to double check on the floodplain. I looked at a number of houses this week, and I don't remember if this had much floodplain on it or not. I don't believe it did, but it's fenced. It's fenced all the way around it, it looks like, from Google Earth. Looks like this might be a little creek or drainage that kind of runs through here, through the kind of center of it. It's got a little bit of character to, you know, kind of a rolling pasture. It's not just flat land. You've got your tree, you've got nice trees, big trees. Let's see what this is. Looks like some little kind of creek. We've got a little way to cross it, a little culvert to cross it. So, a little creek. Oh, look, the snake. Oh, he's gone. Yeah, cool little creek. Pretty clean. Don't see a lot of trash or anything in it. And then, you know, you get through that kind of first line of trees. It's actually a hill that you walk up, and it kind of opens up a little bit further back here. It gets fairly wide back here in the back. So, pretty nice. Pretty nice property. There's not access from the back of the property, but if there was, you could absolutely build back here, but that would be a long way to bring you know, utilities and stuff like that back here. But this is super pretty back in here. And so I'm kind of walking from right to left as far as to the back of the property. Yeah, it's super nice. You hear a little bit of road noise because you're not super far off of 175 from here. So, you know, this is right here in Kaufman. So you kind of been to this area before. Super close to Terrell. We do have a hospital, a little emergency room here in Kaufman as well. But yeah, it's pretty nice. I was kind of expecting just to drive by this and tell you it wasn't like, you'd probably pass on it. But getting out here is, I think it's worth coming and taking a look at. I don't think it's necessarily, it doesn't check all of your boxes, but it checks a lot of them. So yep. But it's cool that they have that culvert so you can drive back there, get equipment back there. But yeah, so pretty pretty nice. I mean, kind of the front part of the property, you do have some trees up here. You got a little bit more by this creek. And this fence on it, the property, I believe, goes at least past those trees over there. So yeah, so you could absolutely, if you wanted to, put your house, build a house right here, and you know, again, you wouldn't see anybody from the house, and then you have the bunkhouse kind of up front. And that saves you on some expenses as far as not having to bring in new, like build a new bunkhouse. You could just, and then you not necessarily have to build as big of a house if you didn't want to. But you have plenty of room to build, it looks like. I don't think you have to worry about flooding out here. Oh yeah, here's the other pond. So here's a smaller pond on this side. But yeah, so you have some options. Like, and honestly, like if this was a spot you wanted to build your house, you could fill that pond in. It's not that big. Fill it in, and especially because your son does dirt work. Oh, somebody's here. Alrighty, well,